Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 186 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin stopped. He silently stared at the eye that appeared inside the vortex. Let your friend release that celestial restriction and I'll teach you a celestial spell. Wang Lin silently pondered for a moment and slowly asked, "Who are you?" The voice didn't answer Wang Lin's question. Instead, it slowly said, "Do you want to learn or not?" Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he grabbed Li Yuan and quickly retreated. It wasn't that Wang Lin wasn't moved by the offer of the voice in his mind, but he was a cautious person. Things like this were never as simple as they appeared. Moreover, even if he really learned the celestial spell, given Wang Lin's personality, he wouldn't make the same mistake after the ordeal with the celestial slaughter art. Only celestial spells I find myself can be learned. I'll never learn those that others give me. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with determination. Origin energy filled his body as he quickly left with Li Yuan while watching the eye. Not long after Wang Lin left, the vortex began to rotate once more. The eye at the center gloomily gazed at where Wang Lin retreated and slowly shrank back. "I don't like cautious people." A ray of red lightning shot out from the eye. In the end, the eye disappeared back into the vortex and everything returned to normal. Only the red lightning still remained. It chased after Wang Lin inside the tunnel. Wang Lin moved extremely fast as he returned to the dark hole with Li Yuan in hand. He pointed at Li Yuan's chest several times before Li Yuan opened his eyes. At first, Li Yuan's eyes were filled with confusion, but soon it was replaced with clarity. "Many thanks, Brother Shu. I was attracted by the strange force inside the vortex." Li Yuan pondered for a bit and realized why he had acted so abnormally. "This place is too strange. It is best we leave now." Wang Lin looked at the passage behind him and frowned. Li Yuan nodded and didn't inquire more. His left hand formed a seal and placed a restriction on the exit. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's expression changed and both of his hands formed a seal. Thunder surged out from his origin soul and condensed in his hand. Wang Lin pushed his hand forward and he used the thunder to completely block the tunnel. At this moment, there was a flash of red lightning and all of the thunder disintegrated. The red lightning charged directly at Wang Lin, causing his expression to change greatly. There was a very familiar feeling coming from inside the red lightning. This feeling came from his soul and caused his pupils to contract. "This is G realm." He retreated without thinking, and as he retreated, he merged with the surroundings. The red lightning charged directly into Wang Lin's body. At the same time, the formation at the entrance opened. Wang Lin grabbed Li Yuan and directly flew out. There wasn't even time to close the entrance as they disappeared into the void. Wang Lin and Li Yuan appeared more than 30,000 kilometers away on the same fragment. Wang Lin's body trembled and his face turned pale. He then opened his mouth to spit out a grain of sand. The sand immediately grew and a giant stamp appeared above them, giving off waves of pressure. Wang Lin immediately sat down in the lotus position and raised his right hand. The beast bone appeared. It started circling around Wang Lin and gave off a demonic glow. "Brother Li, protect me." After Wang Lin finished speaking, he immediately closed his eyes. His hands formed a seal each and he placed them on his knees. Origin energy surged like crazy into his divine sense. Li Yuan's expression was serious as he slapped his bag of holding and immediately took out the 9 celestial swords. After scattering them, he looked at Wang Lin. Although he didn't know what had happened to Wang Lin, he had never seen Wang Lin so serious after reuniting with him. Li Yuan pondered, "What kind of spell is that red light?" The red lightning raged inside Wang Lin's origin soul, and it was filled with killing intent. However, before it could explode, it was immediately surrounded by layer after layer of Wang Lin's dense origin energy. This prevented the red lightning from being able to display its full power. However, this was the G realm, and it was simply too powerful. Although it was surrounded by origin energy, the origin energy was rapidly disintegrating from the inside. It was obvious that the origin energy would soon become ineffective. It was because Wang Lin was extremely familiar with the G realm that he didn't panic and continued to layer more origin energy over it. Because of his prior experience with the G realm, his origin soul was not completely defenseless against the G realm. After all, he used to be an owner of the G realm. As a result, this red lighting didn't immediately erase his origin soul and gave him a chance to resist. If it was someone else, even if their cultivation level was higher than Wang Lin's, they would without a doubt die. It was fortunate that there was a large amount of origin energy inside Wang Lin's body that he hadn't absorbed, so he wasn't lacking in origin energy. With great perseverance, he constantly wrapped more origin energy around the red lightning until it matched the speed at which the origin energy was disintegrating. While Wang Lin was confronting the G realm, at the dark hole tens of thousands of kilometers away, one of the cultivators carefully approached the dark hole with hesitation. This was one of the cultivators that was watching Wang Lin. He didn't leave but wandered around the area. He hoped that maybe, after Xu Mu left, he could find a treasure Xu Mu didn't fancy but could be of use to him. He saw Wang Lin and Li Yuan charge out from far away. After hesitating for a long time, he slowly closed in. He stared at the hole and then clenched his teeth before carefully entering the dark hole. Several hours later, he came to the end of the tunnel. When he saw the vortex, he was startled. The next moment, his eyes were filled with a mysterious light and he slowly approached the vortex. Just at this moment, the eye appeared once more at the center of the vortex. "Come closer, come, come," the eerie voice echoed inside the mind of the cultivator. As he closed in, he completely lost himself. After a long time, a muffled sound came from inside the tunnel. The cultivator exploded his origin soul next to the vortex. None of his flesh and blood scattered, it was all absorbed by the vortex. All traces of him disappeared without a trace. The vortex showed signs of collapse after absorbing the flesh and blood and suffering the explosion. Cracks appeared on the seal in the vortex, and after a long time, more and more cracks appeared before it completely collapsed. A red light shot out from the vortex and immediately covered the entire tunnel. The tunnel immediately shrank to a rune countless times smaller and was inhaled into the vortex. Then the vortex slowly disappeared. Of the 9 great seals, 5 of them have been broken over the years. With my strength now, I can finally activate the remaining 4 to lure people in to break them. There was a hint of joy in that eerie voice as it slowly dissipated. At the same time, among the countless fragments across the Thunder Celestial Realm, powerful celestial spiritual energy fluctuations came from 4 fragments. These fluctuations gradually caused cultivators to gather toward those spots. However, there were seals blocking the entrances. Unless there was a restriction grandmaster like Li Yuan, it would take some time to open them. When Wang Lin opened his eyes, his body was soaked with sweat. His expression was pale as he sucked in a breath of air and pressed his right hand on the ground. At this moment, he needed but a thought to force that red lightning outside his body. But his eyes lit up and he withdrew his right hand. If I simply expelled the G realm, it would be such a pity. It's better to keep it with me because perhaps it can save my life at a key moment. Wang Lin pondered a bit and looked at his origin soul. The trace of G realm would cause him to lose a lot of origin energy to keep it under control. But compared to the origin energy, the value of this G realm was too great. Wang Lin's heart skipped a beat as he silently pondered for a bit and made a decision. He stood up and withdrew his treasure. Just at this moment, he felt a tremble from the ground. This tremble came from the tunnel tens of thousands of kilometers away. Li Yuan saw that Wang Lin had recovered, but before he could ask any questions, he also felt the tremble. The 2 of them didn't speak and immediately flew away. Brother Xu, inside that tunnel. While flying, Li Yuan looked back. Wang Lin said, "Don't mention that anymore. It is better to leave this place as soon as possible." He moved even faster until he and Li Yuan arrived at the edge of the fragment and charged into the void. In the void, Wang Lin looked ahead and said, "Brother Li, I'm going to a place called the Collection Pavilion. If there are any restrictions there, I hope Brother Li can help." Comparing to looking for celestial palaces to explore, it was better to go to the Collection Pavilion from the Yarrow family members' memories. There were definitely celestial spells there. Li Yuan nodded and said, "I'll do my best to help." He didn't know why, but after what happened in the tunnel, he had a lingering sense of fear, as if something big was about to happen. This feeling was very vague, but it was like a thorn had stabbed into his heart and wouldn't go away. Wang Lin calmly said, "Many thanks." Thinking about where the pavilion was, Wang Lin turned around. Origin energy spread out and wrapped around Li Yuan. Wang Lin took Li Yuan and flew through the void. Wang Lin thought deep inside his heart, from the old man's memories, the fragment housing the pavilion is sealed by the 4 great families. If someone is not from the 4 great families, they can't enter. I hope Li Yuan can break the seal. With Wang Lin's origin energy, the two of them turned into a ray of light and flashed through the void. They didn't go to any other fragments but closed in on the fragment at the center of Celestial Realm. G Realm. What kind of person is sealed inside that 5-colored vortex? How could that person have the G Realm? While flying through the void, Wang Lin was unable to calm down. Although he looked calm, there were huge waves setting off in his heart. The peak of the G Realm is the nascent soul stage. The person I met was someone from the planet 5 Elements. That person had the G Realm and said it was a gift from a dead friend. In addition to him, this is the second time I encountered the G Realm. Wang Lin began to ponder as he passed by many fragments through the void toward the center of the Celestial Realm. Could it be? Is there really a way to make the G Realm evolve? Wang Lin's heart skipped a beat and his mouth even dried up. That few hundreds years of having the G Realm allowed him to have a profound understand of that incredible power. G, Dao, sure, Wang Lin began to ponder. He knew too little, so he wasn't able to analyze it all. He let out a sigh and no longer thought about this and focused his mind on the collection pavilion. Flying through the void should have been a very boring affair. After all, the void was very large and most of the cultivators spent most of their time on the fragments. They only passed through it when going from one fragment to another. However, over the half-month Wang Lin and Li Yuan were moving through the void, they saw many rays of light near and far. At first Wang Lin didn't pay too much attention, but after 1 month of moving forward, they gradually saw even more cultivators. Most of these cultivators were at the ascendant stage, and occasionally there would be an illusory yin cultivator. They were either by themselves, in groups of 2 or 3, or together with their family members as they quickly passed by. This phenomenon attracted Wang Lin and Li Yuan's attention. The cultivators all had various expressions, but the slight excitement in their eyes was strikingly similar. These cultivators moving around also saw Wang Lin and Li Yuan. When some of them recognized that Wang Lin's cultivation level was beyond ascendant, their eyes showed vigilance and they all went around them, not wanting to cause trouble. Brother Shu, something is wrong. Could some big event have happened? Li Yuan began to ponder. He had seen too many cultivators along the way. This was a very unusual event in the void. Moreover, as the two continued to head toward the center, they saw even more cultivators. It was as if all the cultivators in the Thunder Celestial Realm were gathering on one fragment. They're not heading to the same location. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he slowly said, "It is 4 directions." What exactly happened? Li Yuan frowned as he looked at the cultivators flying by. Wang Lin pondered a bit. He didn't say any more but took Li Yuan and flew even faster. Just at this moment, more than 10 rays of sword energy flew by in the distant void. Rich origin energy came from these rays of sword energy, causing all of the surrounding cultivators to not dare block their path. The 10 rays of sword energy gave off a dominating pressure as they swept across the area. Even the families with a high number of cultivators immediately backed away when they saw those 10 rays of sword energy. There's no need to mention the solo cultivators. The moment they saw the rays of sword energy, they immediately stopped and didn't dare to get in their way. In an instant, almost all of the cultivators before Wang Lin looked at the 10 rays of sword energy and then rapidly made way. Wang Lin's eyes were calm as he silently looked at the more than 10 rays of sword energy. These rays of sword energy didn't stop and directly flew off into the void. However, just as they were about to disappear, one of them suddenly turned and flew toward Wang Lin. At the same time, all of the sword energy rays stopped, turning into various male and female cultivators. All of them had cultivation levels beyond ascendant. Most of them were at the illusory yin stage and only a few were at the corporeal yang stage. After revealing their figures, they all looked at the ray of sword energy flying toward Wang Lin, and their eyes were filled with doubt. Not only them, but the surrounding cultivators all looked at the ray of sword energy and followed its movements. Li Yuan's expression changed slightly as he raised his left hand and prepared a restriction. Only Wang Lin's expression was still extremely calm as he slightly nodded toward the ray of sword energy flying over. The ray of sword energy stopped 200 feet from Wang Lin. The light dissipated and revealed a person about 30 years old. His face was white without any facial hair and was slightly handsome. However, his pair of phoenix eyes made everything uncoordinated, because they gave off a feminine feeling. He was wearing a golden-purple robe and stood upright. He clasped his hands at Wang Lin and his attitude was extremely respectful as he said, "Junior Zhong Konglai greets Senior." The moment he spoke, everyone who heard it was startled and all of their gazes fell on Wang Lin. At this moment, although there weren't many cultivators here, it wasn't any better than tens of thousands of people watching. The gathering of all those gazes didn't cause Wang Lin's expression to change at all, he was still as calm as water. Zhong Konglai was very famous, so some of the cultivators around naturally recognized him, even those that didn't feel the powerful origin energy coming from him. Then, after hearing his words, they immediately recognized him as Zhong Konglai from the southern domain. Whose is this person? His cultivation level seems similar to Zhong Konglai's. How could he be called senior by the famous Zhong Konglai of the southern domain? I heard Zhong Konglai has already become a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple. To be called senior by him, could this person be an elder from the Thunder Celestial Temple? Various thoughts appeared in the surrounding cultivators' hearts. In particular, those more than 10 people who were with Zhong Konglai all looked at Wang Lin with an incredible gazes. They were each the most talented people in their families, and when Zhong Konglai suddenly changed directions, he didn't say anything to them. Now that they heard Zhong Konglai refer to him as senior, it made them all curious. It has to be said that Zhong Konglai had one of the highest cultivation levels among them. They also knew that he was an extremely arrogant person. This wasn't an arrogance shown only on the outside, it came from deep within him. Even the elders in his family were often not given respect. It was extremely rare for him to be willingly respectful and call someone senior. Zhong Konglai was extremely respectful, and this came from the bottom of his heart and was completely honest. When he saw Wang Lin, he naturally saw Wang Lin's corporeal yang cultivation and felt melancholy. He is indeed worthy of being a senior. Back then when he suppressed his cultivation to the ascendant stage, I could not see him hiding his cultivation level at all. Now he has suppressed his cultivation level to the corporeal yang stage and I still can't see him hiding his cultivation at all. The respect in Zhong Konglai's eyes became even stronger. After he left back then, he was very melancholy and was extremely envious of Shengonghu. After he returned home, he was hesitant and wondered if he should have done the same as Shengonghu and seized that golden opportunity. With this thought in mind, when he heard that Shengonghu was punished by his family and abandoned by the Thunder Celestial Temple, he felt extremely complex. If he hadn't experienced the matter before, he would have laughed out loud and gloated over Shengonghu. However, after experiencing the matter at the Thunder Lake, he agreed with Shengonghu and even felt sadness. In his heart, he even admired Shengonghu. Li Yuan stared dumbfoundedly at Wang Lin and his mind turned blank. He knew of the name Zhong Konglai. Among the younger generation, Zhong Konglai, Shengonghu, and Tan Yangfeng were considered the three geniuses of the southern domain. They were all geniuses that had reached the corporeal yang stage in a short period of time. However, our Zhong Konglai had just called Shu Mu senior, and this made Li Yuan's mind go blank. Wang Lin frowned at Zhong Konglai and asked, "Where are you going in such haste?" When Zhong Konglai saw Wang Lin frown, his heart trembled. He became even more respectful and quickly said, "For fragments of the Thunder Celestial Temple gave off powerful celestial spiritual energy fluctuations. However, the locations are sealed by restrictions that can't be opened within a short period of time. However, it is obvious that once the restrictions are broken, great treasures will appear. After Junior found out about this, I decided to go over there to check it out." Wang Lin looked at his surroundings. It was obvious that the surrounding cultivators had all found out about this through various methods. That was why this had happened. Protected by restrictions, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and after a moment of hesitation, he waved his hand. Since that is the case, I hope you have some harvest. Zhong Konglai hesitated and respectfully said, Junior isn't confident. I don't know if Senior has time. Also, Junior and Brother Shengong who have agreed to meet on the left fragment to join forces to take the treasure. Wang Lin frowned harder and said, I have other important matters. If I have time, I'll go and see. Zhong Konglai immediately nodded and revealed a look of excitement. Aside from Wang Lin, only a limited few from his family and the Thunder Celestial Temple could made him show such an expression. Zhong Konglai thought, since Senior said this, then I'm confident in obtaining the treasure this time. He respectfully said his farewells before he returned to the group of cultivators and flew ahead. His fellow cultivators all looked at him with doubt and followed him. It wasn't until they were far away that one of the women in white couldn't help but softly ask, Big Brother Jean, who was that person? Zhong Konglai faintly smiled. His eyes were still filled with respect as he said, that was a powerful senior. To be able to meet him was my good luck. Under the gazes of countless cultivators, Wang Lin flew away in the void with Li Yuan following closely after. The two gradually disappeared into the void. Along the way, Li Yuan wanted to ask many times, but he endured and didn't mention anything about Zhong Konglai. Given Li Yuan's wisdom, he knew that he shouldn't ask about everything. Everyone has their own secrets. Time quickly passed and in the blink of an eye, months went by. As they got closer to the center, they saw more and more people. Finally, on this day, they arrived at the center of the Thunder Celestial Realm. After arriving here, they couldn't see any more cultivators. This place was completely dark and they couldn't see anyone. Standing in the void, Wang Lin carefully looked around. In the Yarrow family members' memories, the sealed fragment containing the collection pavilion was right here. Wang Lin asked, Brother Li, do you see anything abnormal about this place? Li Yuan began to move his hand the moment Wang Lin stopped. He looked at the place, and after a moment, his eyes became serious. He nodded and said, there are ripples of a restriction here. Although it is faint, I can feel it with my restriction heart. This is similar to a celestial restriction, but somewhat different. As he spoke, he pressed down his left hand. A restriction immediately flew out and split into 18 into the void. At this moment, an illusory outline appeared in a flash and then disappeared without a trace. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. At the moment that outline appeared, he vaguely saw a half-transparent fragment suddenly appear in the void. There was a towering pavilion on the fragment. However, because it had disappeared right away, it was impossible to get a better view. Li Yuan said, Brother Shu, I need some time. Whenever he was breaking restrictions, there would be an aura of self-confidence around him. After he finished speaking, he sat down in the void. His left hand continued to form seals, releasing restrictions that combined together. Sometimes he would press his finger between his eyebrows and black lines would fly out. The black lines would wrap around the extremely complex restrictions and fly into the void. In those instances, the shadow of that fragment would suddenly reappear and then disappear the next instant. This happened too fast to rush in during the gap. Wang Lin wasn't anxious. Instead, he focused on the fragment whenever it appeared. As Li Yuan placed down more restrictions, the fragment gradually appeared more and more frequently. Wang Lin slowly got a better picture of this fragment. The huge pavilion at the center of the fragment was like 4 long thorns. They resembled 2 pairs of bull horns going into the sky. There were 4 people sitting at the top of the 4 horns. They were completely motionless and didn't even pay any attention when Wang Lin looked over. Wang Lin's pupil shrank and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. Li Yuan said, Brother Shu, if you want to completely break this restriction, it will take several months. If we simply want to send you in, then with your speed combined with my restrictions, there is an 80% chance of success. Wang Lin took a step forward and arrived at the edge of the fragment. He slowly said, then send me in. Brother Li, hide yourself well, because it is dangerous here. Don't get implicated by me, and when I obtain the celestial spell, we will leave. Li Yuan didn't waste any time. His hand pointed between his eyebrows and several black lines flew out. They intersected to form a brand, then he created countless restrictions that entered the brand and it gave off waves of black light. Li Yuan's eyes lit up as he pointed forward and shouted, "Restriction heart, burst." When the restriction brand landed in the void, the fragment immediately appeared. This time it flickered constantly, it disappeared, reappeared, then disappeared again. This rapid cycle made everything very colorful. As for that brand, it still gave off a black light. As the fragment continued to change, it began to spread and formed a circular passage. However, this passage wasn't stable and seemed like it could collapse at any moment. Enter. At the moment Li Yuan shouted, Wang Lin rushed out like a bolt of lightning and charged into the circular passage. Just as he entered the passage, it collapsed. Then the fragment disappeared into the void along with Wang Lin. I hope Brother Shu has a good harvest. Li Yuan pondered for a moment before his left hand formed a seal and a restriction appeared. His body gradually became hidden and not the slightest bit of his aura leaked out. The surrounding void returned to being peaceful. Wang Lin's body appeared on the fragment like lightning. The moment he appeared, his divine sense spread out. Behind him was not the void but a screen of restrictions. It was precisely these restrictions that separated this place from the rest of the celestial realm and made it a forbidden ground for the four great families. The moment his divine sense spread out, he locked onto the pavilion at the center. At this moment, one of the four people on the pavilion opened his eyes. He coldly looked into the distance and then disappeared. Wang Lin moved extremely fast and charged directly at the pavilion. There was a ripple of origin energy before him and then a person walked out. He was middle-aged and wore a black robe. His face was cold, and as soon as he appeared, his hand formed a seal and he pressed down. I have been watching you for a long time. Trespassing on forbidden grounds, die. His right hand flickered and a powerful impact rushed over. Wang Lin immediately retreated and waved his right hand. The collision of their origin energy caused a loud rumble that spread across the fragment. The black-robed man's eyes were cold. He had long since noticed that Wang Lin's cultivation level was the same as his corporeal yang. At this moment, he stepped forward while his right hand formed a seal and he muttered something. A powerful force suddenly descended from the sky. Shortly after, a ray of celestial thunder suddenly appeared in the sky and descended toward Wang Lin. This is the Thunder Celestial Realm, and the collection pavilion belongs to the Celestial Realm. Why can your four great families come but I can't? Wang Lin let out a cold snort and charged out. The celestial thunder was descending from the sky, but Wang Lin didn't dodge at all. His origin soul came out and devoured the celestial thunder. Thunder immediately covered his body, making him look very shocking. The black-robed man was startled and his expression became gloomy. He obviously didn't think Wang Lin could directly devour celestial thunder. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he opened his mouth and spat out a grain of sand. This grain of sand immediately grew into the fragment stamp. It gave off a powerful pressure as it pressed down on the black-robed man. Because you're not qualified. While the black-robed man sneered, he raised his hand and formed a seal. However, his expression changed immediately as his spell had no effect on the descending fragment stamp. The fragment stamp suddenly smashed down with astonishing momentum. The pressure it gave actually made it so the black-robed man couldn't dodge. At this instant, the fragment smashed down. The black-robed man's eyes revealed shock as he bit the tip of his tongue and spit out a large amount of blood. His body gave off a blood-colored glow, and just as the fragment stamp smashed down, he charged out of the pressure. He reappeared 1,000 feet away. Just as he reappeared, his face became pale. He revealed a vicious gaze before turning around and leaving without a word. Wang Lin raised his right hand to grab the stamp and gave chase. The two of them charged toward the pavilion at the center one after the other. The black-robed man flew next to the pavilion and quickly shouted, still not going to act. The other three people on the pavilion opened their eyes. In a flash, they appeared next to the black-robed man and coldly looked at the incoming Wang Lin. The remaining three people were at the corporeal yang stage. Right now 4 corporeal yang cultivators were standing there, and their powerful auras were locked on to Wang Lin. A thick killing intent spread out. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he slowly said, "The collection pavilion doesn't belong to your four families. Let me pass and we don't have to fight. If not, even if I lose, half of you will die." One of them coldly said, "Unless you're at the Nirvana Scryer stage, outsiders are not qualified to enter the pavilion." They had naturally seen Wang Lin's cultivation level, and that scene just now shocked them greatly. However, with the four of them together, they weren't worried about Wang Lin. At this moment, the black-robed man's aura stabilized. He let out a cold snort before he stepped out and slapped his bag of holding. A red flying sword immediately flew out, and with a point of his finger, it flew toward Wang Lin. The remaining three also rushed out. One of them formed a seal that created a gust of wind, and suddenly a tornado appeared. The remaining two looked at each other and then they each formed a seal. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he immediately retreated. Then he raised his right hand and the fragment stamp mercilessly smashed down. Two of the cultivators used a spell and formed a yin and yang pattern. The pattern rotated, gave off a mysterious energy, and charged toward Wang Lin. The two that made the yin and yang pattern immediately flew into the air. With a point of their fingers, the yin and yang pattern confronted the fragment. The two of them also activated more spells, preventing the fragment from descending. As for the other two people, they moved toward Wang Lin like lighting, with spells and magical treasures in hand. They were filled with killing intent. As Wang Lin retreated, every step caused a large amount of ripples as if his body was merging with the world. After retreating many steps, he suddenly stopped and took a step forward. With this step, Wang Lin's body disappeared without a trace, and when he reappeared, he was behind the black-robed man. The black-robed man was shocked. He suddenly turned around and the red sword flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were calm as he pointed forward and shouted, "Stop!" In an instant, that black-robed man and the flying sword all froze. Wang Lin ignored the flying sword and stepped forth without any hesitation. He arrived before the black-robed man, pointed between the black-robed man's eyebrows, and origin energy surged out. The black-robed man's body immediately collapsed and his origin soul flew out. He panicked and was about to flee when the Karma whip suddenly appeared. The whip lashed at the origin soul, causing the black-robed man to let out a miserable groan, and a large amount of origin energy was released. Just at this moment, the other person rushed over with the huge tornado. It was obvious he wanted to obstruct Wang Lin's actions. Wang Lin didn't even look at the person as the beast tattoo on the back of his right hand moved and materialized. It charged ferociously at the cultivator with the tornado. At the same time, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and the 1 billion soul flag came out. It turned into a large, black mist and attempted to swallow the black-robed man. The black-robed man was about to resist, but then he saw the blood ancestor's ferocious origin soul flickering inside the flag. The familiar face shocked him and caused him to lose focus. The consequence was him being surrounded by the black fog. All of this was done neat and clean. After collecting the black-robed man's origin soul, Wang Lin waved his sleeves and the black mist surrounded the area. He stared at the remaining three and grimly said, "I want to enter the collection pavilion." The minds of the two that were resisting against the fragment stamp trembled. Before they had time to speak, they heard another cry. They saw the cultivator who used the tornado quickly retreat. The beast bone gave off a ghostly light as it released an unimaginably monstrous and evil aura that filled the world. At this moment, this evil aura was very powerful and had already reached its peak. Even though Wang Lin was its owner, he still felt shocked by it. That evil aura was simply too strong. If Wang Lin was like this, there was no need to talk about the other three people. The moment the evil aura appeared, it disappeared without a trace. However, the tornado spell used by that cultivator turned into a stone statue. When the beast bone's gaze landed on him, the cultivator's expression turned pale and he immediately retreated. However, just at this moment, that rich, evil aura appeared once more. The cultivator's eyes filled with panic and his right hand immediately turned gray. The gray spread like crazy, and at the moment of crisis, he didn't hesitate to lift his left hand and directly cut off his right hand. Disregarding the blood spraying everywhere, he retreated to more than 10,000 feet away and immediately sat down in the lotus position. Even though he had cut of his own arm, the grey didn't disappear and instead spread from his left hand. His eyes were filled with despair and he clenched his teeth. At the moment the grey had almost completely covered his whole body, his origin's soul flew out, abandoning his body. At the moment his origin's soul flew out, his entire body turned a stone statue without a hint of vitality. In the air, the only thing that remained was his weakened origin soul. The surroundings were completely quiet. I'm going to ask you am I qualified? Wang Lin's gaze fell on the two cultivators that were resisting the stamp, and his voice was ice cold. This video will end here.